Yo, what's up? Ricky Sanders here. If you live for fast cars, greasy hands, and solving problems under the hood, welcome to your new favourite spot. I'm all about real fixes, no BS, and showing you how to keep your ride running like a champ. So go ahead, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's make some noise in the garage. Enough talk, let's get ready.
As a rule, when oil smoke appears, oil consumption increases. And, depending on the degree of the problem, the fuel consumption also differs. When oil consumption is about 0.5 liters per 100 kilometers of travel, the smoke is formed to a greater extent when accelerating the car. And when oil consumption begins to reach about 1 liter per 100 kilometers of travel, the blue smoke is noticeable when driving in normal mode. The most common cause of oil in the cylinders is the wear of the components of the cylinder piston group. The upper compression rings may show wear not only in the area that is in direct contact with the cylinder, but also on the end surfaces. The ring grooves in the pistons may also be worn. Wear of cylinder parts and pistons leads to a decrease in compression and an increase in crankcase gas pressure. It should be remembered that if a large amount of oil enters the cylinders, it causes the gaps in the parts to seal. By the way, blue smoke can form on practically new cars while the engine is warming up, and then gradually decreasing and disappearing. This is due to the fact that during heating, the parts acquire a certain shape and take such a position in which the best way to contact each other. And in the case of worn parts, the picture is radically opposite. On a warmed-up engine the smoke will increase, because oil in a hot state due to reduced viscosity is easier to get inside the cylinder. In addition, blue smoke and increased oil consumption may be caused by faulty ignition or by reduced valve tightness. If the problem appeared due to tightness of valves, the color of smoke will be blue-white. It is quite easy to detect such a defect. In this cylinder there will be little or no compression, and a strong black soot is formed on the spark plug. Black smoke. The appearance of black smoke from the exhaust pipe does not indicate a large-scale breakdown of the motor or other systems. But if the cause of this phenomenon is not eliminated in time, it can really lead to serious problems with the engine, the ignition system and the supply system. The formation of black smoke indicates an excessively saturated fuel-air mixture. There is so much fuel going into the cylinders that it does not have time to burn effectively, causing the exhaust to turn a dark color. This exhaust is considerably more toxic than the normal exhaust of a well-functioning car. The main cause of black smoke is malfunction of the fuel supply system. It can also be caused by malfunction of the ignition system, as a result of which the fuel is not ignited inside the chamber, causing the mixture to escape through the muffler in a raw state. In this case it is also characterized by the fact that the engine will have a strong throbbing. If the exhaust is grey-black in color, it may indicate incorrect operation of the carburetor. Often the cause lies in the overflow of the float chamber. There may be clogged jets. To fix such problems you need to disassemble the carburetor and clean it well. If this does not help, you should buy a repair kit. Replace the jets and needle valve and correctly set the level of gasoline inside the chamber. In the case of an injector engine, the problem can be solved by cleaning the injector itself. It may also be necessary to replace the fuel pump or one of the sensors that monitor the various cycles. In the second case, it is unlikely to solve the problem on your own. You will have to go to a workshop, where with the help of special equipment will be able to correctly diagnose the faulty element and replace it. It is not uncommon to hear questions from novice drivers about the exhaust, specifically why the car produces so much smoke. This mainly concerns the formation of white, thick smoke that can appear in the morning when the driver starts a cooled engine, but also white smoke can appear during the entire movement of the car. White smoke. If there is white smoke from the exhaust pipe sometimes due to a cooled engine, it can be quite normal, but if such a phenomenon has become frequent, and previously it was not observed, it is worthwhile to deal with the diagnosis of the car and subsequent repair. Let's talk about the reasons for which thick white smoke can be formed from the exhaust pipe and what malfunctions it may indicate. So, to begin with, let's define what is the exhaust and its essence in general. The exhaust is a mixture of nitrogen, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. In principle, if the engine and other systems of the car are working properly, the exhaust should not have any color, because exhaust systems have a special component, a catalyst that cleans the exhaust from various gases and other substances. So why does the engine sometimes smoke white smoke? There can be two main reasons for this phenomenon: technical failure, the process of condensate evaporation. Appearance of white smoke due to condensation when the driver starts the engine. The muffler heats up and the resulting moisture mixes with the exhaust gases, resulting in white smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe. This phenomenon can occur until all the condensate that has formed in the system comes out. If the air temperature is less than 10 degrees, then white smoke will also come out when the motor is heated for a long time. In essence, this is not smoke, but just steam. You can also pay attention to the presence of water droplets on the exhaust pipe. Such a vapor is dispersed in the air quite quickly. But if the exhaust pipe is completely dry and white smoke after leaving the pipe does not quickly dissipate, but continues to hang in the air in the form of a mist or cloud, then in this case we can say about the appearance of some problems, for a more accurate identification of which requires a diagnosis of the engine. Moisture in the cylinders. If white smoke does not disappear even when the engine is running in warm weather, it indicates that most likely coolant is getting into the engine cylinders. This indicates that the diagnosis requires attention to the operation of the cooling system. In this case, the color of the smoke can change shade, depending on what exactly is used in the cooling system of the car, antifreeze or tow-sol. Getting coolant into the cylinder may be caused by cracks in the block or cylinder head. Another common cause of this phenomenon can be a damaged gasket. In order to more accurately identify the cause of the fluid in the system, you need to perform the following series of actions: remove the expansion tank plug, start the engine, inspect the surface of the tank for oil stains from the fluid, determine if there is an exhaust odor coming from the tank. If you notice an oil film on the surface of the expansion tank and smell exhaust fumes, it means that either a crack has appeared in the center of the cylinder or the cylinder head gasket has worn out. It is also accompanied by an increase in the level of liquid in the tank and pressure increase, due to the ingress of gases from the cylinders into the cooling system. With such a problem, after even a short trip, you can notice a sharp decrease in the amount of coolant. As a result of leakage of antifreeze or tow-sol from the cooling system and further ingress of liquid into the crankcase sump, the liquid is mixed with engine oil. If the dipstick is inserted into the crankcase and pulled out, you can see that the oil on it will acquire a milky color. Such oil is not suitable for further use, because its lubricating qualities are lower than those established by technical standards. Therefore, after carrying out the motor, it is necessary to carry out a complete oil change. How to eliminate fluid leakage? In order to eliminate fluid leaks, you need to have special skills, otherwise it is better to entrust this work to the masters of specialized car services. First, the cylinder head and the cylinder block itself must be removed. After that, it is necessary to carefully inspect the gasket and the surfaces of the cylinder block and cylinder head that are in contact with it. If it is possible to find a place of leakage, which will be expressed by a defect in the gasket and the presence of a matte shade of metal surfaces that are in contact with this place. This means that it is enough to simply replace the old gasket with a new one, and the problem is more likely to be eliminated. If the place of fluid leakage is found, then the next stage of repair work will be more complicated. It will be necessary to check whether the block head itself is sufficiently tight. As a rule, the formation of microcracks occurs near the valve seats. The rarest, and also the most unpleasant variant, because of what can go white smoke from the pipe, is the appearance of a crack in any cylinder. In case of both a cracked block head and a cracked cylinder, a complete replacement of the part is necessary. There may be white smoke coming out of the pipe, as a result of fluid entering the cylinder through the intake system. In this case, the pressure in the system will not increase, and you will not smell exhaust fumes. But at the same time, the oil still becomes an emulsion and the coolant level drops. To determine this problem, you need to inspect the intake manifold, and the blockhead does not need to be removed. If the appearance of white smoke and defects, which it is caused by, then it is necessary to eliminate the malfunction as soon as possible. The fact is that such breakdowns very quickly progress, and also the functioning of the engine on a mixture of oil and water greatly increases the rate of wear of spare parts, as a result of which, literally after a few hundred kilometers, a major engine overhaul may be required. White smoke from the exhaust piston operation fuel supply exhaust white smoke from the exhaust coolant leakage coolant leak. In conclusion, white smoke from the exhaust of a gasoline engine is a clear indicator that something may be amiss under the hood. Understanding the potential causes, such as coolant leaks, fuel issues, or worn engine components, can help you diagnose the problem effectively. If you encounter this issue, it's crucial to address it promptly to prevent further damage to your vehicle. Regular maintenance and timely troubleshooting can ensure your car runs smoothly, much like a well-functioning organism. Remember, being proactive about these symptoms can save you time and money in the long run. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.